Pay this $500 fine, or I'm calling the cops." That was the moment I realized my quiet little suburban dream had turned into a nightmare. Imagine standing in your own driveway holding a flimsy slip of paper about grass height while the president of your neighborhood HOA is screaming like you just robbed a bank. And the crazy part, she actually did it. She called the police on my wife. My name's Noah Rogers. I'm 45. I run a small auto repair shop in Westfield Gardens, Texas. My wife, Amanda, and I thought we'd finally made it when we bought this house, quiet street, good schools, friendly neighbors. Amanda's the kind of person who bakes cookies for the mailman and apologizes to furniture when she bumps into it. In 15 years of marriage, I've never seen her raise her voice. But the day Sharon Allen got elected president of our HOA, that quiet peace evaporated. At first, it was little things. Sharon came to our door with this look of instant hostility like Amanda had personally kicked her puppy. Amanda even asked, "Have we met before?" But Sharon brushed her off with the weakest handshake I've ever seen. Weeks later, when we got back from a family trip there, it was our first violation notice taped to the front door. $85 because our grass was 3.4 inches tall, 3.4. Who even measures that? I laughed it off at first, but Sharon wasn't just enforcing rules, she was obsessed. According to Mrs. Peterson across the street, Sharon stood on our porch for 10 minutes, snapping pictures of our lawn like it was a crime scene. That night, instead of sighing and paying, Amanda sat down at the kitchen table, pulled out a stack of pens, and dissected the notice like it was a legal brief. "This violates State Property Code Section 2114, she muttered. I remember staring at her thinking, where the hell is all this coming from? The fines kept coming. $275, $425. Sharon started circling our house like a vulture, driving past 3-4 times a day. She questioned neighbors about how we could afford our home. And me, I'll be honest, I wanted to cave. I told Amanda maybe we should just pay the stupid fines and move on. She looked at me with this steel in her eyes and said, "Noah, this isn't about grass. This is about due process." But I wasn't convinced. One night, I walked in on her at her laptop, whispering on the phone about harassment precedents and intimidation tactics. This wasn't the cookie-baking wife I thought I knew. I started doubting her doubting us. Was she hiding something from me? The breaking point came at the monthly HOA meeting. Amanda walked in with a folder like she was headed to federal court, not a community center. She stood up calm and collected and said, "According to Texas Property Code Section 2114, notices must allow opportunity for remediation before penalties escalate." The entire room froze. My wife was quoting constitutional clauses like she'd memorized the entire U.S. code. Neighbors whispered, Sharon's face twisted, and for a second I thought she might faint. Then came the moment everything flipped. Sharon called the cops on Amanda for financial fraud. Officer Jackson showed up ready to investigate. But when Amanda opened the door, the officer's face drained of color. He actually stepped back. "Ma'am, have we met before?" "You look extremely familiar." Amanda extended her hand and said, perfectly calm, "I'm Judge Amanda Rogers, Federal District Court." The silence was suffocating. Phones came out, neighbors started recording, and Sharon froze like a deer in headlights. Then she screamed, You're the prosecutor who destroyed my life." The name Rebecca Stone rang through the air as Amanda looked her dead in the eyes and said, "Charity embezzlement, hope for children. You stole $180,000. You served 3 years. The whole neighborhood lost its mind. Mrs. Peterson was scribbling notes like a court reporter. Mr. Green live-streamed the meltdown. The Robinsons stood there with mouths wide open. Sharon, or Rebecca, wasn't just a power-drunk HOA Karen. She was a convicted felon who'd changed her name, clawed her way into a position of control, and now found herself face-to-face with the prosecutor who had once put her behind bars. I should have felt triumphant, but honestly I felt small, confused, almost betrayed. For weeks I'd been doubting Amanda, wondering if she was hiding some shady past when in reality she'd been carrying the weight of being a federal judge, keeping it from me so we could live like normal people. Meanwhile, I had been ready to give up to roll over. Sharon wasn't done. She started shrieking about second chances, about how Amanda had ruined her family. "I deserve a fresh start," she screamed, pointing a shaking finger across my lawn. Amanda didn't raise her voice. She just said with that quiet authority that silences a room. Starting over doesn't mean repeating the same mistakes. Harassing a federal judge because you recognize her voice isn't redemption, it's relapse. The cops had no choice. Officer Jackson documented every harassment incident. The HOA board held an emergency meeting that night and voted to strip Sharon of her presidency. Neighbors who once nodded along with her lawn crusades now looked at her like she was radioactive. And I stood beside my wife, watching Sharon collapse in her own front yard, sobbing, screaming that none of it was fair. Here, that's where it ended. No celebrations, no champagne. Just Sharon. Rebecca being led away as the weight of her past finally crushed her in front of the entire community. And the lesson that hit me hardest, Justice, isn't revenge. It's forcing people to stop blaming others and face the truth about themselves.